Hello, this is Andrew Malakoff. I'm the Executive Director of North Shore Child and Family Guidance Center, Children's Mental Health Agency in Roslyn Heights, New York. And this is Guidance Center Perspectives on Pandemic 2020. And I'm really pleased today to have as my special guest my friend Roberto Suarez, who's also known as El Happy Coach. And he believes that by rejuvenating the power of the body, mind, and spirit through conscious breathing, you can enhance your health and well being. Roberto has been certified and coached by original American breath workers. And if you're a breath worker person, you might know these names Leonard Orr, Sandra Ray, and Dan Brule. More than 2,500 people have experienced his breath play instruction in the United States and Cuba. And prior to his focus on breath work, Roberto has served in various senior business management roles over a 35-year period. So, welcome, Roberto. You've become involved in breathing a little bit later in your life. Can you talk about how you did that and what made you make that decision and why you think it's so valuable?
Great. Well, thank you for having me here, and also you forgot to tell them that I'm very grateful for you having you as a friend for 50 years.
So I'll leave that to you.
When we started, back in Rutgers, we were football players at the time. So the way I got into like breath work later on is because my life wasn't working, and you know, so I was looking and searching for ways to calm my mind, heal my body, because it was starting to like get stress going on. So I was trying to figure out how to, to calm myself and be able to shift my reality. So I got into yoga and Tai Chi, where we used a lot of, breath work. And then from there, I was able to find like the Leonard Orrs and the Sundar Rays, and then I deepened my breath mastery through them. And now lately, I'm being coached by Dan Brule, who's probably the top breath worker in the world, and he brings in more of the different types of breath to be able to support your body and your mind and be able to shift whatever's going on. So that's why I'm totally into the breath.
Okay, well, certainly right now, probably most people in the world, but certainly, for those of us who live in the United States and have been struggling with the COVID-19 pandemic, probably since sometime in early to mid-March, our lives have changed and have become very uncertain and unpredictable. And with that, it becomes more and more difficult for people to find themselves back into a routine, to turn the volume down, to calm themselves, and to find, a sense of well-being again amidst the acute and even for some traumatic stress. So could you talk a little bit about that, given the current circumstances that we live in, and then maybe share with us a breathing technique. By the end of this time together, I'd like people to be able to walk away with a couple of practical breathing techniques. So take it from here.
Okay, that's so. This last 4 or 5 months, I call it like the awakening. It's so like what happens with what's going on. Like you get triggered by external stuff and sometimes by internal. So this pandemic is like the ultimate trigger for humankind, because you're going to have to look at yourself. And what happens is your mind takes a hold of you if you don't have tools to be able to quiet your mind. then the more you think and the more you start like kind of like freaking out or stressing out or taking actions that you don't want to take, or you don't take any actions because you're not clear. So when your body gets triggered, what happens at the same time is that your breath gets triggered. And it might get triggered where you're not breathing. Breathe very shallow. They don't even know it because it's a natural response that your body is doing. So you get stressful or you got too much in your mind, your body just stops really breathing. So what you want to be able to do, at the same time, that triggers the breath. But the good news is that if you can change your breath pattern, then you can change your body or your mind patterns.
So it affects you, physiologically, and it also affects your emotions and your ability to think straight.
Absolutely, because your emotions and everything gets driven by your thoughts and by the beliefs that are in your subconscious. So we're not aware of what's going on in our subconscious that is manifesting your thoughts, right? And when they get triggered from external stuff, it's really not your conscious mind that's working, it's really your subconscious. So if you have fear or you got stuff there from the past, right? That gets triggered, then that triggers thought, that triggers emotion, and then those emotions usually you start creating and taking actions that you never really wanted to take or you didn't take, right? Sometimes you need to take action to get out of the way or whatever it is. So with the breath, at the moment you can become aware of the breath and shift the breath pattern, then you can shift your thoughts, you can shift your emotions, you can shift the pain. So it works both ways.
So
and it's not easy. So,
yeah. There, in the two parts of the brain, that the prefrontal cortex, which affects your ability to, organize and to have an executive function to make decisions, and the amygdala, which is the emotional part of the brain. Those two, have to work together.
absolutely.
And when you're threatened with a life situation like the one we are, it can knock those two out of whack. And so what you're saying is that breathing can help to restore those two to an ability to be able to work together, to collaborate, calm you down, and help you to think more clearly.
Absolutely. And the simple way to let you know how that works is that if you can shift your attention to the breath, you're shifting your attention from your mind. Because you can't be on the breath and in your mind at the same time. So the more you can shift to the breath, the more this relaxes. When this relaxes, now you're getting calmer.
And so this also, I think you would agree that because when we're in very stressful situations, our routines, like, a regular time to eat or go to bed or to make contact with friends, those all get disrupted as well. And so, with a regular routine of breathing at certain times during the day, that also helps to build that sense of predictability in your life.
Yes, because what you're doing with practice is shifting your breath patterns that have become like a normal thing. So like if it was a lot of fear that you have, that's what the brain is remembering. So you start holding your breath. So if you want to shift holding breath, you have to practice the breath. So your brain says, oh, he's okay, let him breathe. So then your body starts breathing. But it's just like changing any habit, it's repetition. So with different breath patterns and different breathing techniques, you can do it. So I can teach one breath technique right now to help the stress, right, and put your attention away from the mind, and that's called belly breathing or diaphragmic, breathing, right? So because when you get very stressful, you're not breathing. You're shallow breathing. You're probably breathing up in your chest, very shallow. So we want to be able to expand our lungs, our diaphragm to work fully, and we do that through putting attention on the belly. So if you put your hands in your belly, right, and breathe through your nose, breathe in, like 2 or 3 seconds, you breathe in.
Okay, you're breaking up a little bit there. So you were saying breathe through your belly.
Yeah.
And take 2 or 3 breaths through your nose.
Yeah. So breathe in your nose, and then when you breathe in, the belly goes up, and when you breathe out, the belly goes down. So you breathe in, breathe out. Now notice if your belly is going up in the inhale. And if you have difficulty breathing in and out the nose, breathe in the nose and out the mouth. Is that easier?
Yeah, definitely.
Attention on your belly. A couple more times. One more time. How does that feel?
Very relaxing.
Yes.
Like you said, you lose sight of everything else.
Yeah. So that's a very powerful, breath technique. Okay. So you breathe in, and then the other thing that is powerful is that if you want to get rid of anything, you have to learn how to relax the exhale. So you were having a little difficulty breathing out the nose in the exhale. So that's why I told you to breathe through the mouth. But that helps you relax and let it go. The 3 keys for transformation or whatever you want to do with the breath, one is awareness. It's like how you're breathing or not breathing is the first thing. Then 2 is relaxation, letting go through the breath, through the exhale. And 3rd is conscious breathing. What we did there is that you assume control of your breath. So awareness with relaxation and conscious breathing is really powerful.
So it's also, I like what you said about the control, because one of the things that when we're in acute stress and a crisis situation is that we start to get the sense that we can't control anything anymore. We lose control.
Mm-hmm.
What you're describing is that through the breathing, it's a way of beginning to regain control.
Absolutely. Yes, and that happens with awareness.
With what?
So, awareness.
Awareness, okay.
Because when you start getting freaking out or whatever, right? You're not aware. Your mind is controlling you. Okay, so you don't have control of your body or your mind. So
you, as you said earlier, for you got into all of this because you felt your life was becoming somewhat unmanageable and something you couldn't control. And so you know what that experience feels like firsthand, and that's what brought you to this.
Absolutely. And it's like anything else. The more you practice, right? It's like you go to different levels, right? So right now, the key is just to, first of all, become aware. This pandemic is forcing us to become aware because you can't go out, so it's going to have you aware to noticing your feelings, your fears, your disappointments, like losing control. So that's becoming aware. So the more you can close your eyes and just notice how the breath is really breathing us. We're not breathing, you know what I'm saying? The breath is breathing us. Most people say, no, I know how to breathe. And I go, no, you don't. You're not even aware how your breath is breathing. Right? So the first thing is, and the more you become aware of your breath, the more you become aware of your pain in your body, or your sensations, of your emotions, of your mind, what's going on. With awareness, then you become aware of your community, of your family, of what's going on. So people that are very high level of success and stuff like that, they're very aware. And if you notice, they're master breathers. like martial artists and people like that, and people in anything, you see how they are they know how to breathe, and they used to breathe for peak performance, optimum health, and full potential. So,
So,
okay.
I wanted to ask you about your thoughts and how it ties in here, because it wasn't bad enough that we had one pandemic. Now the pandemic, a second pandemic of racism. It's something that has affected so many people with the killing of strangulation killing by a police officer of George Floyd in Minneapolis. Certainly, wasn't the first incident of its kind, and it sadly won't be the last, but it set people off at a time when they were sheltered in, they really couldn't go out, and the emotion of the situation and the outrage of the situation brought people into the streets. And it's an ongoing protest that's happening, mostly peaceful. But there are people that now have another level of concern and stress and uncertainty about what's going to happen. And it's another external threat in a sense, but it's something that people are trying to figure out, what do we do to get our hands around this to prevent this from happening again in the future. So how do you see breathing, fitting into this second pandemic?
Well, because all this is happening, it's intensifying, right? It's like it's different levels, and we don't have control totally because we're not grounded in peace. We're not grounded in love. We're not grounded. So when this kind of external stuff happens, whatever's in the subconscious that you've been holding all your life, and something like this happened, two ways of being able to get rid of it, so you have to experience it. So people are experience whatever they need to become more conscious, to become more centered, a lot of people are out there because they're looking for peace. We did that in the 60s when we started, right? Through the Vietnam War and all that revolution. I've been in revolutions all my life. I got exiled when I was 6, and then when I was 8, I had to leave my country twice.
That was when you were in Cuba, right?
Yeah. So all that has affected all my life. Like, I'm not good enough, there's people control me, all that kind of stuff was reflected. It's not until the last 5 or 10 or 15 years that I've been able to release that, right? And be able to stay calm and be able to like feel what's going on, right? And then be able to like get centered, get clear, and be able to support people in whatever they're up to. There's no right or wrong what people are doing, but what they're doing is manifesting everything is in their subconscious and belief stuff. So with the breath is going to bring you calmness and clarity, and the action that you're going to take is hopefully is going to come from the heart, not from the mind. So the breath technique that I'm going to show you now is to be able to get grounded so you can connect more to your heart. The longest distance in the world is going from here to your heart. So what the breath is doing is connecting you there, opening up so your heart can become bigger, right? So when you take action, right, you come from clarity and you come from a space of peace or love, not from a space of fear and hatred and anger. Because no matter who you are in the world, in reality, we're all human beings, spiritual. The problem is that there's something that happened there that created you being a certain way. And that could be a killer or whatever, but if you take all that stuff away, when we were born, where we came from, it was all bliss and love. So if we can get back there, then everything works.
And one of the pathways back is through breathing.
Absolutely. You can use the breath. Two ways breath can go. One is to heal your body, to heal your mind, for peak performance, for optimum health. And then there's a second intention of the breath is is to letting the breath take you in a magnificent journey. And that journey is that you connect to your real self, to your true self, to your spirit. And when that happens, everything works. But you don't have to go there, but you can do that. But you have to let go. You have to let go of your mind. You have to let go of your body or your belief system to be able to connect. Because that's all ego. So to connect to spirit, the ego has to go to the side. And then you connect to the energy. So that's the whole.
Before you go to the next breath technique, you're in Miami right now. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Absolutely.
just for the people out there to know that we're, from New York to Miami right now. So go ahead.
All right. So the next technique is a technique that's called coherent breath. That is a very powerful technique, and if you look it up, on the internet, there's a lot of science behind it, and a lot of people are doing it. But it's a way to really calm down your sympathetic system, brings it more to the parasympathetic, so you don't go into flight or fight.
Right.
So you calm down. You can also your heart rate variability starts getting normal. Right? So you can function better and you're going to be more balanced out. But you have to practice it. So what it is breathing like 6 breaths per minute, which means that you inhale to a count of 5 and you exhale to a count of 5. If you can't do 5, you start with 3 and then you drop to 3 and then you go up to 4 like that. So we're going to try it. So I'm going to count for you, right? Okay. So you breathe through your nose, you sit down and you relax. Don't worry about belly or whatever. Right now, just inhale for a count of, let's do 3. Inhale for 3 and exhale for 3. Okay? So inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Again, inhale, 1, 2, 3. Exhale, 3, 2, 1. Now exhale for 4. Inhale for 4. Inhale, 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale for 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now let's try 5. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more time. Inhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then just notice how you're feeling. So that practice minimum 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the evening, 5 minutes during the day. If you inhale 5 seconds, that's 6 breaths per minute because that's 10 seconds, 60 seconds in a minute. So that really, if you have anxiety, you have fear, you have stress, if you do that for like 21 days, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes and 5 minutes, your blood pressure, everything is going to be reduced. You're going to be a whole different level in your life.
So do 3 sets of 5, 1 in the morning, 1 in the afternoon, and 1 in the evening. 3 sets of 5 seconds in and out.
Yeah, and if you can do it for more, we say do 10. Like the formula is 10 plus 10 plus 10 times 2, which is 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, and 10 times for 2 minutes during the day. But if 5 for beginners is good.
Well, I think,
No.
as you said before, that when we're facing external threat, the typical response is fight or flight. And what you're adding to that is put that aside, and instead of fight or flight, breathe.
Yeah, and this breath that I told you is going to go to the opposite of fight and flight. It's going to bring you to balance, to certainty, to coolness, to flow. Instead of, right? It's going to bring you down.
Okay, well, with that, I want to thank my good friend, as he said, 50 years friendship, Roberto Suarez. You know, we first met on the college campus and then on the football field. And now here we are on doing some virtual breathing together. So I know that everyone who views this is going to, be very pleased, because there's not only the kind of philosophy behind it all and the origins of it, but also the practical aspects of it, the exercises, techniques that they can take with them every single day. So
Yeah, and there's a lot more too.
uh,
But there's a lot more too, but start with those two. It's
so if
good.
somebody wants to look you up, what should they do, Roberto?
They can go to elhappycoach, elhappycoach.com, and they can send me an email over there, or if they want, I give 30-minute, free consultations. They can sign up for it, and they can look me up in any social media through El Happy Coach. And
Okay, so
get a
that's
hold of me.
Happy Coach, elhappycoach.com.
Yeah, .com. Yeah.
.com. And if you want to contact the Guidance Center, you can always reach us by going on our website at www.northshorechildguidance.org. So once again, thank you. This has been Guidance Center Perspectives on Pandemic 2020, and we're grateful for El Happy Coach, Roberto Suarez, for joining us today.
Well, thank you for asking me to come on, Luz. Whatever I can do to help, I'm here.
Okay, take care.